Okay, so in this tutorial, I'm going to show you a Objective-C calendar system which I've created. I created this because the existing open source projects out there just weren't meeting my needs, so I came up with my own system. So let me demonstrate what it looks like. It's pretty simple, but I think it has the ability to be built upon to do any kind of task that you may need. So I bring it up, and I just kind of tried to build this real quick. So this isn't centered, but we could easily do that. Um, but anyway, so this calendar comes up to the current month and shows you um, the days here. And you'll notice the cool feature about this is if you click on a day, it will pop up and you could have some details related to that day depending upon what you're trying to do in your app. And you just click off of this to get back to the screen, right? And you notice I'm getting the correct date that's matching whatever I click on here, 26, right? Um, and I'm going to show you how you could highlight certain dates in here if you wanted to, based upon some criteria. I was, in the project that I was working on for a client, I was doing this with a parse.com database. So I have some code in here that could work for that, but you could use it for any kind of database system. Or you can, if you just wanted to have a calendar, you can do that and just forget about the database stuff. So anyway, let me show you some of the code here. Let's take a look at how this works. So first we're going to take a look at the storyboard. You notice in the storyboard I have um, a month label and then one for previous and one for next, and then these 7 for each day of the week. Now, if we take a look, split screen here and go take a look at the H file, you'll notice that I actually only have 3 connections here, 1 outlet and 2 actions. I could have, and when I actually made this for a client, I did do one for each of these days of the week, so that I could format it on the screen nicely, right? Anyway, though, that's something that I'll leave up to you guys to do. I just want to show you a functional calendar system here. So the other thing you'll notice that I have here in the H file are these 3 externs. These are extern, given it the extern tag, kind of creates global variables out of them that you can use in different view controllers. And this comes in real handy for that pop-up screen view controller that I showed you a second ago, so that I can quickly access information from this view controller file in that pop-up screen, right? So now let's take a look at the class variable. I'm sorry, let's take a look at the view controller M. Go to the top here and take a look at some of these class variables I have. Actually, I will just say one thing. These are arrays that correlate to the database system I was using. In parse.com, you get a created at date. That's the date that I'm kind of examining to see if it matches the current day on the calendar. And then this had session, this has to do with the project I was working on. If they had a session, then we actually colored that day. We gave it a different color, the background to it, so that it distinguished it from other days. And then this, the parse spot, was just recording the actual date for that spot, so that when you clicked on it, we could access it from the pop-up window. So anyway, going in here, we have 4 class variables, and then the 3 externs that we reinitialize here. And this is, and kind of self-explanatory. Num days is the number of days in the month that we're examining. The year of the month that we're examining. The day of the week, the weekday here. This correlates to when does the first day of the month start. That's real important so that we know where to start our buttons on the screen. And then this month, which is anywhere from 1 to 12, depending on the month that we're examining, right? And so if you go down to the view did load, we go ahead and take a look at this grab data method. This method I kind of have just commented out. If we scroll down here, I'll show you. It's just commented out. I'm gonna, when I always post you the code. I am going to post this code so that if anyone is working with a parse.com database, this could come in handy. It shows you how to make a call to a parse.com database and grab some information. And particularly, the only one I left in here was the created at date, which gives you the date that this happened. I did, I think I removed it for this tutorial, but I had a session variable as well. But since I'm not actually using this for the tutorial, I didn't want to leave it in there. It could cause the problem. So anyway, let's go up. And so, so I will mention that in here, you would then call this method called myCalView. And it's important that you call that in here if you're going this route and you're using a parse.com database, because you want it to grab the data first and then go ahead and do that. If you call this too soon, you won't be able to examine the data from your parse database. It'll just show the calendar without doing that. So anyway, since I have this method commented out, I called that right here. You wouldn't call that if you were actually using that method. Hope that makes sense. So let's go take a look, and we'll come back to these in a sec. So since this is the method that gets called in the view did load, this is what's getting called as soon as the user opens the app. So we should be showing the current month when they open the app, right? And so that's what the whole point of this method is. Get the current year, and then get the current month. And I'll show you down below that once we have those two things, we can get the current start date of the month as well. But we're just using NS calendar, NS calendar features here, stuff that you can just find easily on the Apple developer site. This gives us the current date. Like I said, we wanted to use that for this myCal view. And then, so that's the only thing that's particular to the current date. Now we go down to this method called more date info. And as I'm scrolling down here, you notice I have this update cal now. This is when I use the next and previous buttons, we change the month, right here, by incrementing or decrementing it. I'll explain these tags in a second. But then we call this update cal now. And what that does is basically looks to see, hey, did we go into a new year? If we did, then let's set the month accordingly and the year accordingly. Did we go back to a new year? If not, we'll set it accordingly. Right? Makes sense? So then we go in and let's do this more date info method. And this is really where everything happens.